So you've got that itch to make art. It's been plaguing you for days, weeks, months even, but you keep ignoring it because maybe you're lucky enough to have like a rogue 5 minutes at any given time during the day for something for yourself or something extra. I've got some amazing projects that do only take about 5 minutes and use up supplies that you already have, or better yet, you almost trashed. I was curious about this idea of what we don't make time for and to see maybe what some other people have written about what happens when you don't make time for the things you love, or at least the things you say you love. So I Googled what we don't make time for, and I found something really interesting. There was a lot of memes that talked about like, you're going to make time for the stuff that's really important to you. And an overwhelming amount of those memes, to the point that I kind of got angry, frustrated, because I actually think that's a fallacy. I think that we make time for the things that we have to make time for. It's like a hierarchy of what we love and what we care about. And sometimes our art making falls really low in that hierarchy. So I'm here to make sure you find ways to raise it up a bit. Now, speaking of making time for things that are important to us, that brings me to today's sponsor, Proven. Proven Skincare is the world's most personalized skincare. Science-backed, personalized, of course, simple, and female-owned, cruelty-free, pregnancy-safe, all of the things. Plus, oh yeah, made in the USA. Now, I've been using this skincare for the last 3 weeks and I've definitely noticed a difference. And I honestly have to say I've become a skincare guru, so I was skeptical. Now, more on that later, but let's get into the painting. So I don't want you to get nervous. Yes, I'm using my book today, Mixed Media Adventures, but you don't need this book to get into these quick art projects that you can do on the fly. You can simply use old paintings, and I hope you've been around here long enough to know that I really don't want you throwing out the paintings that you hate. I want you to keep them, shove them in a drawer so nobody can see them, but this is the time to pull them out, my friends. This is the time to use them, because if you notice in my book, what I've offered you is basically paintings that have been started. Patterns, gradients, all that kind of stuff, and you can see some of the work I've done in them. What I love about this idea of taking, say, a page of old artwork that you really felt like it was unsuccessful, revisit it, go over top of it, and add something new. And you can do that in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever time you have. Put it away again and come back to it. So grab those ugly paintings, but don't forget your magic cup. I talk about it in one of my books, Making Art for Joy's Sake, Free-Spirited Watercolor. You're going to pop in some paper. Literally, it's scrap paper. Your favorite brushes. I got a palette in here, pencil, whatever you use most. You're going to make a couple of these and stash them around the house. I talk about it a lot because it is so key to snagging those small moments that are presented to you throughout the day. The moments that would otherwise get wasted on something that's not memorable, that would otherwise get wasted on something that is not going to potentially bring you joy. So magic cup or magic basket and ugly paintings. Let's go. I'm going to be working in my book, as I said, but friends, you do you, use your old paintings. And I'm just getting into it with some simple shapes within this circle. So here's my first tip for quick paintings that give you quick decompression mentally, quick satisfaction, is to not think at all. Just grab something from your magic cup and put it to paper. That's it. Don't think. That's my first tip. Yeah, I know. So here I was like, okay, circle. Okay, I'm grabbing this tiny brush. Okay, great. I'm going to do little loop-de-loos. Okay, I'm going to kind of just build on the last loop-de-loo. And that was it. And I'm going for it. These precious 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 or whatever it is that you have to make art on a specific day, you need to lean into your intuition. So that's my second tip, friends. Lean into that intuition. Lean into things you've painted before. Every time you put brush to paper, it leaves an imprint on your soul. I know that sounds super like woo-woo, but seriously, it does. And so you're going to lean into that imprint, shapes you've made before, materials you've used before. Maybe it's the intuition of, I've been wanting to use this thing and I haven't used it yet, so I'm going to grab it. See, when you are in these quick art making modes, you don't have time for all the fuss and discuss. All the fussing, all the discussing. And that's my phrase for just all the thinking that happens when you have the time. And when you have the time, it's lovely, but you don't have the time, so don't do it. My point here is that you want to get into, it's funny I say my point here. I'm making a lot of points, but I'm whittling it down to this. Once you start making marks on the page without a plan, you gain momentum. You make a mark, it inspires you to make another mark, and before you know it, you're 3 minutes into making marks and you haven't thought about the craziness or chaos of what's going on in the outside world, or for that matter, what's going on in your stinking living room right now with the crazies running around. And I mean that lovingly. I know our husbands, significant others, children, they're not crazy, but you know what I mean. So I don't have a degree in art therapy, and I was curious how long the scientists say that it takes for your brain to feel the effects of making art. So you guessed it, I Googled it. And I gotta be honest, I was pretty shocked because what I found very quickly in the first few articles, not to say that those articles are the gospel of this topic, but what I found again and again was that it takes about 45 minutes for you to feel the effects. Now, don't go anywhere because I'm going to tell you what, friends, it's wrong. That's wrong. Scientists are wrong. I don't care. I've got real life experience here. So have you ever taken a deep breath before, or gone to yoga for that matter, and did some very concentrated deep breathing? It's actually something I do often, especially when I'm getting upset or overwhelmed. How long do those deep breaths take to make you feel a little bit more calm? For me, it's always been almost instantaneous. I almost feel a weight having been lifted after just that first in through the nose, hold it for a few counts, slow out through the mouth breath. Well, I have found that it's the same with putting marks to paper, brush to paper, pen to paper. It just takes a few moments. So yes, indeed, friends, I am countering what the scientists say. 45 minutes, my butt. So I'd love for you to get in comments if you have an experience similar to mine where making art for just a few minutes has given you a sense of peace. I want you to let me know. I want to make my comment section a scientific experiment, however unscientific, to prove that it can just take a short amount of time. So go ahead, share your stories. And while you're at it, if you're having fun, if you feel like this is going to help you in the next few days, then would you go ahead and give this video a boop? Let me tell you something, friends. It's hard here on the YouTubes. It's hard to get found, but every boop that's a like helps others find this video when they most need to. So thank you. So at this point in the painting, I've switched from the small brush to a bigger brush. I'm adding some white acrylic. I've also added some pen marks, and I'm just continuing with that idea of just wing-dinging it. Going with it. And I know that is so hard for you. I know that some of you are like, I can't do that, Christy. I can't do it. But please trust me, you can. You have it within you. You have to ease yourself into it, but you can do it. So my next tip for you, I think it's number 3 when you're doing something like this and you don't have a lot of time to create art. Friends, when you're starting to get bored, switch supplies. Heck, switch the ugly art that you started making these doodles on too. Do whatever you can to keep in the moment, especially if you feel like you have the time to continue. Don't let tunnel vision or any type of creative boredom get in your way. So just switch it up and keep on moving. All right, I've grabbed my 1/8" dagger and now I'm just going in. I'm letting paint run out. You can see how fast my kind of hand is moving. I've got a lot of tension in my fingers, but at the time it felt okay. It felt relaxing. I didn't feel like I was in any kind of distress. Be mindful of that though, friends. Be mindful if you're in any kind of physical distress. Don't let it continue just because you're like, oh my gosh, I got to finish this. You don't have to finish this. Remember what I said earlier. You are in this to actually create a moment, not create art. You're going to create art as a product of the time that you've chosen to dedicate to this moment. Wow. Am I talking in creative circles? I don't know. But I think you're going to understand this. You don't want to be uncomfortable physically. You don't want to be uncomfortable environmentally. And hopefully, because you're going to be painting in small doses of time, you won't have the chance to. I mentioned it earlier though. One brush stroke makes you want to create another and then another. You've got that brush stroke momentum going on. So who knows how long you might end up creating art. You might have thought 5 minutes to start, but it turns into 20. So the only thing I do want you to really pay attention to is your physical comfort, and make sure that if you need to move, get up and stretch, that you do. Now, that sounded like a tip, but it really wasn't. I do have one tip coming up that is like the Mac Daddy. It is the one that you want to stick around for, so please don't go anywhere. And I think it's the one that could actually be a big aha moment, a big shift mentally for you in your creative journey. So how does this proven thing work? So it's a proprietary 3-minute skincare genome quiz. I know that's a lot of words, and I was like, wait, what is that? It analyzes 47 factors about you. So basically, you answer a bunch of cool questions about your skin, and they then send you a formula that is specifically designed for your skin. You're going to get a cleanser, a day moisturizer, and a night moisturizer. And I also got a cute little lip balm that I love. Now, consistency is key with any skincare regime, and I've learned that the hard way, but this skincare is so simple. And you want to know how I know that it's making a difference? It's because I'm getting compliments that really can't be explained in any other way. My makeup isn't different, my hair isn't different, nothing else is different except the skincare that I've been using for only 3 weeks. Okay, and before we get back to painting, I promise it's coming soon, but I have to tell you this. I've tried a lot of skincare, as I mentioned. And what I have found to be most different about this is the simplicity and is the way that it works on my skin in a very specific way. I would find products that I love in the past that were really great for my cheeks, but then would make me break out on my nose. And that's not happening here. This seems to be great for my entire face. So friends, you do have an opportunity to try the proven skincare for yourself. I have a link in description that is just for you. So click on the link in my description box and use my code Christy99 to get your first personalized proven system for just $99. And it's only for a limited time. Friends, this is 50% off the retail price. As I get into another page here, friends, I want you to understand this. And this is important, but it's not the most important tip that I have for you today. I want you to go into these short micro painting sessions with the understanding that you are going to make a mess. Because the fact that you're speeding through, you're grabbing things, you're switching things up quickly without much thought, you might spill something. Don't clean up. That is my 4th tip for you. Do not clean up during the session. You can clean up after. You can make your kids clean up for you, but don't worry about it in the moment. Just keep going. Don't lose that momentum. You don't have that much time to start, so don't waste it on cleaning up. So I want you to just take a look at how my crazy, abstract, ugly, starting, maybe evolving to lovely paintings has gone on. And don't forget, I have that 5th and final tip for you that I think is going to be a game changer in your creative journey, so don't go anywhere. Now, I've said it a couple different ways throughout this video, and I'm going to say it one final way. I don't want you thinking about much when you finally sit down for your 5 minutes of creative outlet. So my last tip, friends, is this. The one thing that you should be thinking about during this painting session is your breath. So as you're painting, whether it's 1 minute, 5, or 50, I want you to make sure that you're taking nice, even, calm breaths, because doing that is just going to add to the peaceful experience of laying down marks on paper. Okay, I lied. I do have one more tip. You need to watch this video next because it's one of the most popular ones when it comes to short, quick, and joyful making art projects. See you later and happy painting.